Hey everyone, this is Mike, and a few days ago I talked about the new crafter gear that was available in patch 5.3, as well as sharing some of the macros that I used to make the gear in the first place. If you don't know about that yet, you can go and check out that video. But today I'm going to be talking about how to actually obtain gatherer and crafter materia, because of course getting the gear is one thing, but you also still need to put some materia in there for them to be actually useful. And of course obtaining crafter and gatherer materia goes a little bit differently from obtaining battlecraft materia. So today I'm basically going to be sharing the methods that I use to basically get new materia on a weekly basis or on a daily basis if I want to just put in some extra time, or even to grind it if you really want to just get on that grind and get a bunch of materia. If for example you are a new crafter and you just haven't been doing these things that I have been doing for quite literally the last year or so. Starting off with the thing that I think is the best thing to do when it comes down to time investment for materia obtained, and that would be the custom deliveries. If you open up your timers right here, you can see all of the custom delivery clients, and each client will grant you a specific amount of yellow scripts and white scripts. Of course, these two scripts you can farm for as well, but when it comes down to just obtaining a large quantity of these in a very short amount of time, then the custom deliveries are definitely the way to go in my opinion. Now, depending on which client that you choose, they will also have different rates for these yellow scripts and white scripts. So for example, as you can see over here, our dragon has a decent amount of yellow scripts but a lot of white scripts. Same thing goes for Kaishir, decent yellows, a lot of whites. But then if we go to the pig, you can see he has a lot of yellow scripts and only a few white scripts, and that is basically going to be the trend for the rest as well. So basically go through the list, look at which of the NPCs are giving you what you want, because of course different grade of materia are going to be bought with different color scripts. So of course once you have obtained the scripts, you can go to a crafter's script exchange. Of course you can also undertake these custom deliveries as a gatherer if you want to do so, and then of course you can get your gatherer materia like that. Since I'm on a crafter right now, we can go in here. If you are looking for the grade 4 and grade 5 materia, that would be under the level 50. If we go to level 70, that is where we have, if we scroll down a bit, level 6 and grade 6 and grade 7 materia, and then the white scripts are going to be used for grade 8 only. So if you're really after grade 8 materia, do the custom deliveries for the ones that give you the most white scripts. If you're just after grade 4, 5, 6 or 7, do the ones that give you the most yellow scripts, because that's how you're going to be able to get those materias the most. Of course, your grade 8s are only available in your normal slots as well as the first overmelt slot, if I'm not mistaken, whereas grade 7, 5, 4 and the rest is going to be used for the other slot. Now, of course, I haven't gone over how to get grade 1, 2 and 3 materia yet. Those aren't really used all that much anymore as of late, but you can still use them here or there to basically put them in somewhere to cap some CP or something like that. CP is usually the one that is pretty good for that, but I'll show that one in just a second as well, where to get those. Then moving on to something that we can do every single day to basically get one materia a day or one materia every 3 days, and that is the dwarf bee stripes. Whenever you do the dwarf bee stripes, you basically get 3 allowances to get quests from them, meaning you can get 3 tokens a day. And then we go to the vendor over here, hammer fragments exchanged, and then you can see down here that we can buy a materia grade 7 for 3 tokens, meaning you can buy one of these a day, or you can save up 3 days worth of quests and buy a grade 8 materia instead. This is a good thing to do for when you just want to do something daily to get one materia every day, or of course to get one every 3 days if you do not want to just wait on the weekly influx of your yellow and white scripts coming from the custom deliveries. And the exact same thing goes for your gatherers as well. If we go to the Qatari bee stripe, which was the gatherer bee stripe, you can see in the exchange store that we can also use some nuts that we get from there to exchange for grade 7 or grade 8 materia when it comes down to your gatherers. Now, of course, those aren't the only ways for you to actually obtain these materials, because there is also a very beautiful thing called materia extraction. Now, the way that this works is very simple. If I go over on my gear real quick, you can see that I basically have no spirit bond yet, but you can see down here in the condition next to it, you can see a spirit bond meter, which at the moment is at 1%, because I only just crafted this gear, haven't really used it all that much yet. But as you keep using the gear more and more, you're also going to be increasing the spirit bond of your gear. gear. And once the spirit bond is at 100%, you can right click it and then use this thing right here, extract materia, which will basically create materia from your gear. Now this is basically the old convert, but it's much better now because it doesn't consume the piece of gear that you have. What this will do is basically just reset this spirit bond level all the way back to 0%, and it will just give you a materia. Of course, if you're extracting materia from a crafter gear, then you're going to be getting crafter materia. If you are extracting materia from a gatherer piece of gear, you are going to be getting gatherer materia. So that's another good thing that you can do. There is also a manual for this, for example, the Squadron Spirit Bonding Manual, which will speed up the process during which you spirit bond. If I'm not mistaken, there is a free company action for this as well as a like a potion or something like that. So there's basically a few ways that you can increase the rate at which you gain spirit bond. For example, when I was crafting the gear that I'm currently wearing, I actually had the manual available to me all the time. I had it up, and by the time that I was done crafting all of this gear, I had spirit bonded my gear like 4 or 5 times during the time of me just gathering the pre-crafts, crafting the pre-crafts, and then of course also crafting the final piece of gear. Same thing goes for your gatherers. If you're going out there gathering quite a bit of materials to just be able to make this new set, you will of course spirit bond your gathering set as well. Now then, to obtain some grade 1 to R3 materia when you are already at endgame, you can of course go and spirit bond some very low level gear, but that's kind of a bit of a hassle in my opinion. What you can do, however, is if you have an FC and you have access to a workshop, you can do some airships and submersibles. Now when we go over here, for example, 2 of my ships have just come back. Of course, I'm not quite sure if my friend sent them out to the correct spots to go get gatherer or crafter materia, but we'll see in just a second. Doesn't look like it. I'll just redeploy this one, and then we'll check the second one as well. And this one brought back some old materia. Now, of course, these are grade 4s, Savage Aim. This is, of course, Battlecraft materia. But I'll show you as well how you can convert this materia into something else. And to do that, we go to Central Thanalands. If you follow from the Aetheryte right here, going up to the northeast side of the map, you can see that there is this little alcove over here, where we have Mutamix bubbly pots. This is the guy that basically allows you to transmute materia into something else. So I'll show you real quick how it works. You just put in 5 unwanted materia. In this case, I don't really have any use for grade 4 crit materia, so I'm just gonna put this in here, and then he's going to be giving me back a random piece of a different materia. There is also a chance for you to get a higher grade of materia, which is actually about to happen right here. I'm just gonna skip the cutscene. And then as you can see right now, I got a Battle Dance grade 5 materia. So basically, as long as you have materia that you do not want, you can just put them in here and you'll get a random different materia back. This is usually what I do with like my old grade 4, grade 5 Battlecraft materia, because of course they are not really useful anymore when it comes down to the current endgame gear. So I just throw them in there and I basically hope that I'm gonna get some crafter or some gatherer materia from it instead. Of course, if you put in 5 grade 4s, there is also a chance of it leveling up to a grade 5, which you just saw happen here as well. So this is another way for you to just buy some cheap materia, like for example grade 4s, and then just throw them in here in the hopes to get grade 5s out of there. This used to be a way that people made money back in the day. Of course, not really all that great anymore because of how popular hunting has become. But basically another way for you to just get rid of some old materia that you don't want anymore and hopefully transform them into a crafter or a gatherer materia. So those are basically all of the different things that I have used in the past that I use right now. The main things that I do at the moment is just these custom deliveries, because they just give you so many scripts, which is in my opinion the best way to go about it if you don't want to invest too much time into gathering all these materias. Of course, if you still need a lot of materia, you can just grind out yellow scripts, you can grind out white scripts, and then just trade them for the materia of your choice. You can do the beast tribes, both the Kitari as well as the dwarves, every single day 3 times to get some materia over there as well on the daily. Then whenever you're crafting a bunch, whenever you're gathering a bunch, make sure you pop a spirit bonding manual or a potion or anything like that to just increase the spirit bond rate that you are going to get on your gear, so that you can extract the materia once it's at 100%. And then of course, if you have an FC, if you have access to an FC workshop, make sure that you just basically get some materia from there, and then all of your unwanted ones you can throw into Mutamix and basically hope that you get some crafter or gatherer materia like that as well. There are specific sectors that you can send your airships and submarines towards that will have a higher chance of bringing back some crafter or gatherer materia as well. But I don't know all of these different places on top of my head, so basically just go look up a airship guide and that will basically have all of the information that you need for that. But that's gonna be it for me. If you have any more tips that you might want to share that I did not cover over here when it comes down to you going about getting crafter or gatherer materia, feel free to leave them in the comments down below and I'll definitely upvote them so that other people can see them as well. But yeah, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank my Patreons for supporting me, and I'll see you in the next one.